This is War Room Moments, the show that takes you around the world to share interviews with some of the most successful and most relevant people on the planet, hear their stories, and get the most important business lessons they have learned on their road to success, and get exclusive advice on how to implement their success into your life and business. War Room Moments is brought to you by the Strategic Advisor Board. Here's your host, Jason Miller.
Hey, welcome to today's episode of War Room Moments. I'm your podcast host, Jason Miller, and today I have Karen on with us today on the podcast. Welcome to the podcast.
Hi,
Karen.
Thanks, Jason. It's Karen's
Awesome.
Moments too, by the way, just in case anybody was wondering.
Yes. Well, Karen, tell us a little bit more about you and what it is that you do that's your superpower.
My superpower.
Your superpower.
Well, what I do is I help parents of children with autism to naturally and drug-free recover their children from the symptoms of autism. And I know that may be the first time that, you might be hearing that. And it is new to a lot of people. When my own son was diagnosed with autism, now 16 years ago, I was told to drug him and try behavioral therapies, and that was it. There was nothing else we could do for him. But I thought, I don't want to just drug him. I want to find out what the causes are. And fortunately, I actually have a 30-year background in craniosacral therapy, which means I've studied the brain and worked with the brain and know for a scientific fact that it can heal. And I have holistic background, so I know about diet and how much the gut controls the brain and toxins, but I didn't know that much about autism. So I began my own research because I really wasn't getting the help I needed from the multiple practitioners and people I was trying to see to get help. And I was spending a lot of time and money that was getting wasted. So I went ahead and started doing my own research, and it took me a decade, but my son no longer has the symptoms of autism. His are gone. So what I thought after that is, how could I take that 10 years of research and share it with other parents? Because there's no way I cannot share this. There are 1 in 39 kids being diagnosed with autism today. I wanted to make sure that I reached as many parents worldwide as I could with the resources I had. And I know how chaotic all the information is. You're hunting and pecking through the internet. You're trying to see practitioners, trying to read books, you're trying to just find out anything you can. You're spending a lot of money and you don't know what you're doing, and you're struggling, and it's stressful, and it's very isolating because other people don't understand what you're going through. And so I wanted to create something where I gave them literally the A to Z, not just a little bit about diet or pieces about detoxification, but that I could help them go through the entire process and give them support along the way. So if they have questions, how could I answer those? And I wanted it to be worldwide. Well, now my Naturally Recovering Autism membership program is in over 40 countries. It's been out for 6 years and has phenomenal success. And I do always right up front say every child's level of recovery is different, because the definition of recovery is to regain health. My son and some others that I have helped have actually had their diagnoses removed after even extreme cases. Others, they're going to keep their diagnosis of autism, and that is absolutely fine. The goal is to help parents to make this a simpler process, have the resources and the support they need to really get the best results, because a lot of these kids are going now from D's and F's to A's and B's, or ones that were screaming in tantrums, just one mom, or many moms, like 24/7, like the home life can just be so stressful. And now she's like, my child is so calm now. They're relaxed. They're happy again. They're playing with their sibling. They're making friends. Other ones, so they're getting good grades in school. They're calm. They're speaking. Ones who were told their child would never speak, literally never, ever speak, is what the professionals told them. They're now talking a lot, full sentences, completely fine. And everybody, again, is different for different levels of recovery. But I want to help every parent worldwide that I can to get the best results possible for their child and save them a lot of the time and the expense in doing that. And give them the support they need to, because I personally have lived it. My
Yeah.
website, by the way, is naturallyrecoveringautism.com. But it's so important. There's 1 in 39 kids being diagnosed today. So, and I say, I had so much information and so much education to share, and I just wanted to figure out how to do that. And so that became, and I love the online platform because, like I said, I have people in small villages in Africa that can do this. They might not have the resources near where they live, but they have internet. And so
Sure.
they're able to do this from anywhere.
Well, what's amazing, right, is it's like we go through life, because I have it's not my immediate family, but I have somebody in my family that does have autism. And what's amazing is what we're told, right? More than anything else is what you're told and what you're led to believe that something is, and how it can or cannot be fixed. It's, I'm a veteran. I'm deeply embedded in the veteran community. I see lots of PTSD, all these different things. Almost anything in life, I believe, can be overcome with the right tools, right? And what really amazes me is you created the tool out of necessity, right?
Yeah, absolute necessity.
Yeah. And that's amazing. And to me, these are the things that we don't hear about them enough, right? Because, not to get into like the political side of the medical community or any of that, right? But like one thing that triggered something that you said to me is they just wanted me to drug my son, right? Well, I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole, but we won't. But and then somebody like you figures it out, right? And I love it, and I want to support that cause as much as we can, and get the word out, because these are the things that really matter. And if we can take something like you do and help so many families with that, Jesus, let's do that. Holy crap.
Right? I mean, 1 in 39 kids. Of course, if most people, if they don't all have their own family member with autism, they know somebody who does, because it has become a worldwide epidemic. And I have a lot of the answers to help them know why and what a lot of the causes are, because there are underlying pathogens, toxins, infections, and other things that coincide with the symptoms that come from them. And they coincide with what the diagnostic statistical manual in the site for the psychiatric department, what they use to diagnose autism. So if we go and work with those causes and get the health back, for one, because a lot of it are health issues for the child or the adult. And once we start working with those at any age, symptoms are reduced, or even for some alleviated, so we want to help people to just regain themselves, to have the tools to be who they truly are, live independent lives, be happy and healthy again, and really live life to their full potential.
Yeah. Well, the beauty is you are a living, breathing family that it works, right? And when you have that, because there's obviously a lot of things out there in the world that say they work when it comes to health and all this stuff, right? But when you get to truly step back and go, look, I use this for my own son. That's a big statement to come out and make, right?
Exactly. So, and I think it's why people initially will start to listen, because a lot of them are like, oh, you can't recover from autism. What is she talking about? This is ridiculous. I'm like, well, it happened for my son. And I'm like, what? So,
right.
But I don't care what it's called. I just want to, I'm happy that my son is happy and healthy. He's graduated college. He lived away on his own independently while he was at school. I mean, those were things when he was a child I wondered if they would ever happen. And I know that there are literally millions of parents out there wondering the same thing for their child right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And if one has the ability to fix it, why wouldn't you want to? I mean, that is, to me, even if it just got some result is better than none, right?
Absolutely.
Because it's just like you get into the whole medical marijuana conversation with some of the children that were having issues with different diagnoses of things, and it was really helping them. And then they wouldn't let them do it anymore. And then regression happened. And then, that's the thing I don't understand sometimes. If something works, let it work, right?
Yes. Well, they won't go down the rabbit hole of the
I know.
community at all, right? But if there isn't money to be made, or they can't, patent it to keep the money, then they don't, it doesn't make them money if people get better naturally. And so, again, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. People know for themselves. I've already been there. Sure. I spent over $100,000 on trying different practitioners and trying different therapies and trying all of these things to see if they would work, and nothing was working. And I finally thought, I am losing not only the expense, but the time with my son. And I was like, I got to figure this out. I was just so determined. I got to the point where it was literally my last trip to the ER with him, the emergency room. And the doctor's just talking at me like, no, I'm not going to do tests on him. And he was screaming in stomach pain. Maybe he's having an appendicitis attack. You don't know it. You're just a parent, basically. And I was like, I am so out of here. I'm going to figure this out. It was just kind of like fuel to my fire. I thought, I'm going to figure this out for myself. And so, it took me a long time. And so I want to be able to save the parents who need it a lot of that time, because I have done the work and put it together for them. And so for those who want and need what I have, I am available.
Yeah. That's great. And that this is a cause I want to get behind, because we need alternatives, right? Mm-hmm. And if one thing isn't work, it's like the definition of insanity is what? Continuing to do the same thing over and over and getting the same results. So if something's not working, try something else. And I think you could be the something else, right? So thank you for sharing all that.
My pleasure. Sure. I appreciate spreading the word.
Yeah. And kind of part two of this on the business side, because you run a business with this as well. And, part of the podcast is to bring awareness to things like you have going on in your business. But the other part of it is to try to help a young CEO that's coming up not to take arrows in the back that we've all had years of experience in business with. So what's a business struggle you've went through that you if you got to sit down a young CEO and said, look, this was a struggle I went through, I'm going to teach you how to prevent going through the same thing?
I know initially I had all of this information in my head, and I had to figure out how I could get it down on paper, not just in a book, but eventually on an online program where I could walk parents through and answer questions along the way, because I have a forum in my membership site. So that's what I looked at. How can I take all of this information and lay it out in a, so A to Z and easy and simple to follow. So that really came from me being able to find really the tech help I needed, because a lot of it was tech. But once that fell into place, and I went through a couple of hard knocks before, I found the right person, which you do, but you get some referrals, start, putting your feelers out, and then talking to people. And then, once you get out there and you put it all down, then things just start refining. I think that's the thing, is just to get started. And then over time, it took me a year to put my whole program together and create it, so before I could release it. But that's it. And if you have a passion, that's the thing. If you've got a passion for, what it is that you have to share, because you have a lot of knowledge. Everyone has something really valuable to share with other people, whatever it is. And there can be in any category. Then, share it with the world. We're here to help people. people and make a difference. And I do want to make a difference in the world. And that's where I think what you really need to just keep sight of as you're going through a few of the hard knocks, but get the tech help and the support and whatever the resources are you need to get out there and get your information out to the world.
Yeah. That's the don't try to do it alone conversation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There is a
For
lot
sure.
to learn. I have learned a lot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it is a lot. It wasn't a simple task, but it was definitely well worth doing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, Karen, just to kind of close things out here, I like to ask this question, and that is, if you could have picked someone to join us on the call today, dead, alive, friend, mentor, whoever that would be, that you could ask one question to, that burning question, who would that be and what question would you ask?
I'm a big fan of Napoleon Hill. If you haven't read the book Think and Grow Rich, anyone should really, I think anybody should read it. I've given it to my kids because it's really about, he interviewed, he's passed now, but his book is all about interviewing the most successful people in the world, the Rockefellers, Henry Ford. What was their key to success? And really the bottom line, and ask him a question, but he answers the question in the book. It is all about mindset. And so much of it has to do with what you believe, and it's using your imagination also, and really figuring out specifically what you want to do, how you want to do it, and putting it down and going through the principles and really sticking with that positive imagination and mindset and belief in what you're doing, and having a final picture of your outcome to really be clear about what you want, how you're going to do it, and what what you really want out of it at the end. So that's really about it, is using the imagination, and it's more than goal setting. It's really about mindset, because a lot of us have personal blocks that stop us from doing what we want to do. And if we move forward, but work on those, even at a subconscious level, I have a lot of things on my website too about subconscious work, EMDR and tapping and various things, because as a mom works through the pieces with their child, their own belief in themselves and their fears and their worries and all of these things can get in the way. So I want to make sure that basically they're not getting in their own way, which we all don't want to get in our own way. So doing self-work is very important.
Yeah. Mindset's it is a elusive thing. It can be, because we can have blocks and not even know we do. And, those sometimes take a little bit of digging with a pretty big shovel.
Yeah. It's not a one and done, done in a day kind of thing either. It's a constant, work in progress. Just stick with it.
For sure. Well, great. Well, hey, how do people get a hold of you that want to reach out, that need your help? How do they get a hold of you?
My website is the best way, naturallyrecoveringautism.com. I also have a Facebook page of Naturally Recovering Autism. And I also teach, in fact, it's coming up soon, a free 3-hour live virtual masterclass. The information for that is on my website. I have a ton of free resources. I do a weekly blog and podcast. So if you just basically, I think the easiest way to find me is go to naturallyrecoveringautism.com. And again, I have a lot of great free resources for you there. I even have a quiz you can take to see where you are on the autism journey, whether you're new to the process or you've been on it for a long time. naturallyrecoveringautism.com/quiz. We'll be able to walk you through some things. So it gives me some answers about where you are, so how I can help you best. So you can take that quiz if you like as well.
Awesome. Well, hey, thanks for being here. I really appreciate the light that you've shed on this, and it was eye-opening for me. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for joining us on this episode of War Room Moments. This is your podcast host, Jason Miller. Remember, dream it, believe it, and achieve it. Signing off.
Thanks for listening to War Room Moments with your host, Jason Miller. Please leave your feedback and visit strategicadvisorboard.com to get the latest and greatest business advisement on the planet. Follow us on social media for updates, and we'll see you on the next episode.